Hello, my name is Marilyn. Welcome back to the Stanley Parable solo version. We're in the broom closet and we are going to go back out. Bye. I didn't like that.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
So, I believe when I first walked through the door, I was like, we're gonna follow the narrator. And then I went into the broom closet. So, screw that. When's the narrator gonna yell at? Ooh. There's a basement. It's just red light. Yeah, it's just red light. How do I crouch? There we go. Alright. Fire hose. Interesting.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh,
This dream
what
is
a
too
relief
normal.
Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself
That's your
being
thoughts.
considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts,
like
he
that
thought.
sentence.
And while he thought it all very
like
odd
this ending.
and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply
How couldn't
deceiving
it be?
himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been
Used
in
to
his
say we're all
life.
not dreaming, always.
Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back,
My room is never
the
cold.
fresh
Get
air
outta
of a
here.
world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want.
So is
I
this
want my
Stanley or the
apartment
narrator?
and my wife and my job, All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal.
This is the narrator
Everything
speaking, is
will
it
be
not?
fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man.
She would have to
He was
call the
obviously
ambulance,
crazy.
wouldn't she?
This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal.
Okay,
I am
normal
sane.
is
I am
subjective.
in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't.
How can you...
It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day.
Stanley?
The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Was she not going to call an ambulance? You lied to me. Okay, but like... Oh. We're just... That's it? We're done? We're here? Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Oh.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
That was jarring in the most non-jarring way possible. Hello. I hate Mondays. Today is Monday. Wait. Yeah, no, today is Monday. It feels like every day's a Tuesday.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
All right, maybe we'll actually listen to you this time. The music is really good at making us feel eerie or not.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Will do.
Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
I will. Thank you. All right, so while we're here and the narrators are talking, potentially, it's interesting that we just kind of like started again and there wasn't like much of an ending before we just restarted, which I think will make the restarts more significant when they happen. Like, if we have to physically restart the game ourselves, which I think we'll probably have to do, why then? And why not for these endings, you know? Aw, the narrator's not gonna talk to me, boo.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I guess I will. Ooh, window. See, like, this is also very Portal. You know? You feel? Ooh, fancy. Oh, my room is not dark enough for me to see a lot of this. Can I? Oh, I don't know what that means. Oh no. Whoops. I don't know why I said whoops. Alright, we're just gonna have to squint. Oh. Alright. I can dig that executive bathroom.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Interesting. So I just...
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
I can't see. I turned down the lights in this room, but I think I'm
2845.
I don't like that that's red. Ooh, I did not like that. I did not
but it
appreciate
turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself.
Excuse you, I cannot see. And you are just... Whatever. There's no way for me to, like, half turn on the lights. So, we'll just keep playing in the dark, I guess.
And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Okay, so where is this, oh, geez, I can't see. Where is this keypad behind the desk? That I was... Oh. Hey. Are you happy with me now, narrator? Are we in a, like, theater? What is this room? Why is it red? Speaking of this, no one in my college knows that you have to shut the gate to make the elevator work. And it's so frustrating. Shut the gate. Otherwise, other people can't use the
Descending
elevator.
deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was
Just
a
now?
stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years
Stanley
it
really
had
that
never
impressed by
occurred
the
to him?
corporation?
This question would not go unanswered for long.
Oh, I really don't like this. I'm like, no.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Oh. This is like Portal. Hey, a desk. Think.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Oh. Yeah. You sure did. I sure do. Camera? Oh, these desks don't have buttons. I hate
Now the
Mondays.
monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen.
Is this
and
really that
Stanley, one of them,
surprising?
eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
What is that? Why is that one an error? I wasn't paying attention to what the narrator just said. That one? Oh, here we go. Who am I? I'm 427? Yeah, that sure is my desk.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job?
Fired.
That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
This isn't honestly
No.
that surprising.
He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible?
Yes.
Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Yes.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
You know what? Good for you, Stanley. I'm glad you're... I approve of your morals. 5. Oh, jeez, I thought that was
And when
a
at
face.
last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Okay, I feel like the numbers are going to be important. Let's just panic. Yep. Sure am panicking.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty.
Yeah,
Was it over?
probably not.
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
But also, I think that last section, there are so many things unanswered, was meant to talk to me, the player.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Beat the game. Hey! Achievement unlocked. That's also interesting. I wonder how the achievements... And here I am. Okay.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility?
Did I do this already?
He had never been trained for that.
I don't think so.
No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever.
How are Stanley and I connected?
Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Why are you like this? Alright, well, on that note, I've been recording for quite a while. I accidentally did 2 endings, I think. So, I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye!